Hi, my name's Erin McChesney, and I'm here to help with this wonderful veterinarian that's with me, who's going to introduce herself in a second. We're going to talk about how to show your horse for the vet for both NETRC and also for endurance. And I have my lovely horse here, Stoica, too.
Thank you, Erin. My name is Dr. Kelly Torrisi, and I've been blessed to be a endurance control judge for Tevis for the past many years now. And we are excited here to give you 10 top tips to sail through Tevis at your vet checks. So come with us on this journey to help you and your horse down the trail. Tip number 1, those pesky vet cards. The most important thing is when you have it out, unfolded, and hand it to the ride secretary. It's so important because veterinarians have our hands full with stethoscopes and other things. They are ready to take your card. Secondly, part of those vet cards, keeping them dry. A plastic baggie is a great place to put it. When they're wet, it's difficult to write on it and the information can't be kept. And the most important part is when you pull it, please don't pull it from your sweaty undergarments. Nobody wants to share those things. Good luck on that trail. Don't forget your timer card when you hand that over to the secretary.
On A, B for guts on this side. Okay, very good.
All right.
Good luck, have fun. Do you want to be a very good boy?
Just me. Yeah. I drink enough water. I finally got to go to the bathroom.
You've met me.
Thank you.
All right, good to see you.
Good seeing
Good
you.
luck out there.
See you at Forest Hill.
See you at the finish line.
Tip number 2, make sure you train for your trot out. This is very important to take the time ahead of your ride to teach your horse to trot out immediately on cue. We, as veterinarians, cannot accurately assess the horse moving out appropriately if they're not going quickly and on time. This saves you, your horse, time and effort, because if I have to ask you to repeat your trot out, both you and your horse will be tired. We know you're tired anyway, but practicing ahead of time will help you get down the trail faster. And also, side note, if you can try to find a way to not clip your lead to your bit, that helps too, because then you may not pull on the horse and show an inadvertent lameness that may not actually be there. And we're going to show you that here momentarily.
Okay, so tip number 2 is about the trot out. Dr. Kelly mentioned about not having your line attached to the horse's bit because it can influence how the horse moves. You want to hold your rope about a foot away. If you're too close and you're running, because when people run, they go like this, I'm going to pull my horse's head, it might make my horse look lame. If it's too long, then my horse can get too far in front of me, and that can be a problem. Or I can get too far in front of my horse. So to teach her quickly how to trot out, I'm going to show you what I would do with my own personal horses. I use a long driving whip. We're going to show this from behind, so you'll get to see what happens at the back of the horse. So I'm going to go here, facing away from the vet. I've got my line, my horse at my shoulder. Trot. Oh. Trot. Well, so I use the whip, just a little tap. I also give my horse a little sound, which is her cue that we're going to trot. I let her take the first couple of steps, then I join her. But I use the whip at first because I want her to know that she has to trot when I ask her to. And you also have to teach your horse to stop in the trot out. It's just as important to have a hoe at the end than it is to have the immediate trot from the beginning. And I need to stop far enough away from the vet and the vet secretary to not run them down. And if that means I need to walk the last 3 or 4 steps up to the vet, that's what I'm going to do. And that's a simple way to teach your horse how to trot out.
All right, tip number 3, how to trot out. We just saw a beautiful example with Erin, and we'll go over those details again. Tip number part 1 of this is it's so simple as approaching the vet box. Having your horse face towards the trot out lane instead of sideways with your friend. Having you already prepared to enter the exam is really helpful and decreases time that you're out on the trail. Second one, if you need someone to trot out your horse for you, please bring them to the trot out lane. That really helps reduce time searching for someone to trot your horse out for you. Keeping an even moderate pace for the 100-foot trot out and back is very important for us to evaluate the quality of gait your horse might have. And making sure you know who your veterinarian is. A lot of times there's a line of 4 veterinarians, and we know you're tired, but when you come back, you forget where to go, and you might cross 3 lanes of trot out. So picking your point where you're trotting to, turning around, finding your veterinarian, and trotting straight back to that location is very important. Practicing your turns. Please don't trot your turn. Making that nice stop turn helps you avoid collisions with other riders, and it makes sure that your horse maintains their future athletic ability so they don't slip or have a collision with another horse. Please don't run in front of your horse. We cannot safely evaluate the gait of the horse if you are indirectly in the view of ours watching your horse go. Stand to the side as you jog next to your horse. Don't pull too tightly, as it may affect their head movements, as well as try to the best of your ability to not have a buddy for that horse. That's may more be difficult than we would hope, but that is a goal for the future. And we can see this again with Erin. All right, tip number 4, the heart rate. Horses are similar to most other species in that the heart is based on the left side of their chest. But unique to horses, they have a dense muscle mass. And if you're very attuned with your horse at your vet check, it's very valuable to note if that left front limb is behind the right front limb. If it is behind, it is very difficult for us veterinarians to listen to their heart. So if I approach the horse, you can move that limb forward so I can listen to that heart. And just like that, you're on the trail faster. All right, number 5, hay or mash. Please do not feed your horse in the vet box. This will not help you in almost any way as far as your veterinary exam goes, in that it will increase your heart rate. Secondly, it makes it difficult for us to assess the gums of the horse. We can't see because there's feed in the way. Additionally, it also causes a weird chain reaction, and that all the horses following you will dive for that hay, drag their riders, bump into other horses, and it's really hard to clean up for every rider after you. So just take care of your horse before the vet exam. All right, tip number 6. If you are able to teach your horse not to rub, that really helps when we come over to touch them. Then they try to rub on us and I can't do a full exam. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Tip number 7, practice touching your horse's lips and face at home. It's really hard when they're gun shy to try to evaluate their horse's lips to be able to do an accurate evaluation of their capillary refill and their mucous membrane color. Taking the moment to help really helps. Also, too, us as veterinarians, when they throw their heads, it really hurts our rotator cuff. So anything you can do to help speed you through the vet check and take care of your veterinarian, we really appreciate it. All right, tip number 8, be proactive. Use your time wisely. Be aware of what you can do to present the best horse once for your veterinary exam. If you notice your horse's pulse is high, then take the time to take the tack off and use appropriate cooling measures. Secondly, if you have a concern about lameness, take the time to take your splint boots off, check the feet, do what you need to do. And please do these things away from the vet box so we don't crowd and slow down other riders. Number 9, simple. Stop requirements. Be aware of what you need to do at each individual gait, whether it's a gait and go or a tack off or presenting your horse. Be aware of those things before you enter the vet check. So again, you can present your horse the best possible way in the shortest amount of time possible. And last tip to get you through TEVIS as fast as possible, and we thank you ahead of time, please be polite. We want you to succeed. We want you to have future positive rides with your horse. So know that if we make the unfortunate decision to pull your horse, that we are doing it for your horse and your safety in the long run. Also, too, the grading system is meant not to be emotional, but educational. So if we find that your horse is failing in one criteria, know that we are doing it to keep your horse healthy and sound for future rides together. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you on the trail.
Okay, and to add on to what Dr. Kelly was saying about being polite and being courteous, is the veterinarians are here as an advocate for our horse. And we know that everybody loves their horses as much as anybody else. I've been doing this sport since 1979, and I know that when the vet takes a look at all the parameters of my horse, they may say this horse is good to go and pass the exam. But I would add on to that if you're not sure, if your spidey senses or something doesn't smell right, or you know what section of trail is in front of you and you decide that it might be too much of an ask for your horse that day, it's okay to do a rider option. There's no harm or no foul. Your horse passed the vet check and you said, today's not the day. And so think about that too, that just because the horse passes the vet check doesn't mean you have to go on if you feel it's not the right thing to do on the day. And if you're not feeling good, you won't ride well. And if you don't ride well, your horse may have a glorious vet check and have all A's and perfect P&R, but if you're not feeling good, you're not going to ride well, and you might think that's not the fair thing to do to my horse. But if my horse gets pulled, I'm going to be upset, right? I'm going to be, oh my gosh, my horse is lame. I might be upset because there's something wrong with my horse. I might be upset because I think that the vet judge is being overly critical. At TEVIS, they are uber conservative. What might get you through a vet check at a regular 50-mile ride, at TEVIS, at Last Chance, is a no-go. So keep that in mind, that they are here doing their best job to protect your horse. And at that point, it's time to stuff down those emotions for a second and ask the vet, okay, does she need anything else? Is there something we need to do? Do I have to put her on fluids? Should we give her some bute because she's a little bit painful? She got a really bad stone bruise coming into here. Whatever it is, I'm going to use this veterinarian as a resource for the benefit and the welfare of my animal. So think of it in those terms. They're not trying to wreck your day. They're actually trying to make sure you get to do it again the next time.
As a reminder, here is what a veterinary exam looks like. We're going to start with a heart rate, trot down, trot back, and then we'll finish our exam and get a second heart rate for a cardiac recovery index. Thank you, Ryder. She has already given the card. 36. Would you trot your horse down and back, please?
So what we're seeing now is that the horse and rider are going out together and the horse is at the rider's shoulder. And she's going to turn, take her time on the turn at the walk, and then trot back straight to the vet who's doing the exam.
Perfect.
And bringing the horse to a halt without running anybody down.
Attitude A, gait in A, impulsion A. Have you had a good ride so far?
Yeah, she's been forward.
So
Color and refill are A.
it's common for the vet to ask questions.
Jug refill and skin tint are A.
And we stay on the same side as the
Withers and
veterinarian.
back are A. Muscle tone is A.
So when the handler sees the vet go behind her horse, she's going to switch sides. And the reason we do that is so that if this horse decides to be naughty, she can turn the horse's head towards the
Guts
vet
are
and the
A's.
haunches away from the vet.
Tackles and wounds are A.
And again, as a reminder, if you were unable to trot your own horse out, you could have someone trot the horse for you, but you must be
36.
present at the vet check. You
horse
cannot
looks
send
great.
the
Enjoy
horse
the
forward
trail.
with
Thank you.
somebody
Thank you.
else, unless, of course, you were completely unable to present the horse. And
So-
that's Heidi and Jen.
That's beautiful. And as you see, if everything goes nicely, your vet exam is between 1.5 to 2 minutes. So your veterinary exam should not slow you down on the trail. Good luck out there. Have fun.
My name's Erin McChesney again, and I'm also a leisure NATRC judge, and we're going to show the check-in for that. It's not a veterinary exam. It's simply to see that the horse appears to be good to ride that day, doesn't have any galls or isn't back sore. So I would ask Dannon her number.
37 and the horse's bell.
I'd check with my secretary that she has that information written down. And basically all I'm going to be doing is I'm going to look to see is this horse back sore, feel if she's cinchy, all of that. I'm going to do that on both sides. We don't do a pulse. We don't check their gut sounds or anything else. And I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to ask her to please trot your horse out and back. On the trot out for leisure, this is just to make sure that the horse is good to ride on the day. And if the horse looks good and nice and even and regular in their strides, then we're going to say you're okay to ride. And at the final exam, we would do the same thing, the exact same check. So sometimes with NATRC, people complain a little bit, say, oh, you know, it's like a horse show and my horse has to be uber clean. Your horse doesn't need to be horse show ready clean, but do clean your horse up for your pre-exam, for your mid-ride exams and your final exam. That's your opportunity as a rider to make sure your horse doesn't have any nicks or scrapes or cuts that you didn't realize were there, that the horse obtained along the way. It also gives you an opportunity to see if your tack is still fitting properly and nothing's gone silly there. So it's important that the horse is cleaned up, but also that you've picked their feet. Make sure you pick their feet. And if you're not physically feeling up to it and you have somebody else do it, you better be there to watch. Because if they pop a rock out of a foot, you need to know about it. So keep that in mind. But that's a real simple exam, gives you kind of a heads up of what it'd be like to do a leisure ride in NATRC. An open novice CP would be a similar exam to what we saw earlier with Dr. Kelly.
All right, here is an example. Find out how many things that you could do better. Show us your trot out.
Come on. Let's go.
Wow, that was terrible.
Thank you. Thank you, Pony. You
That
did a
was a
very
terrible
good job.
example of how to do it wrong. It was a great example of
It was
doing it
how to
terribly
do it
wrong. How to do it wrong.
Thank you. Next time, we'll see how to do it right.
Let's try a better example of that. Let's see what it looks like. Let's do a wow.
She's doing
Let's
nice,
do a
pretty
wow
job.
trot out and back. And here we go.
Beautiful. Thank you for presenting your horse so well. Thank you.
And it works, right? Like if you get in front and you start doing that, they go.
And then start.
Yeah.
I don't know. People can't get run over.
I was close, though. It was close,
Poor
though.
Belle, her eyes are going to pop out of her head. She says there is something seriously wrong with my
Poor
mother.
horses know what to do so well.
Yeah.
That's great. Whee! That's right. Oh, what a fun horse day.
Yeah.
All right, what's also unique along the Tevis Trail is most of the stops have tack on as an option. And so if you present your horse with a tack on, there's a few things we look for differently. We're going to do the same physical exam, but remember to move your reins to the halter when you do your trot out. And we're going to do the same thing. We'll still look for tack galls with the tack on. We might look under or around the tack to make sure there's no tack galls. Additionally, we will put our hands underneath the top of the withers and behind in the back of the saddle as well to check for their back and their withers. Additionally, we usually don't pull on the girth, but we will look for girth galls as well. And Erin has some safety tips for when you're out on the trail when you're trotting out for your vet exam.
Okay, so generally speaking, when you come in and you're going to vet, whoa, bud, you're not going to have your girth tight to like mount, but you're going to loosen it a little bit. Just helps the horse to recover a little faster, runs a little cool air under here, and it allows them to have better access here to the heart girth. Also, I've seen this happen before. And this is a real safety issue. Oh, I'm sorry, having a little trouble here with that. And we go to the vet like this. I can't begin to tell you how many things are wrong with this. It's a tripping hazard for my horse. It's a tripping hazard for me. This horse very easily could hook one of these snaps into his shoe, and I don't want to find out the wreck that's going to happen. In the vet check, my responsibility is for the safety of everybody. Myself, my horse, the vets, the secretary, other participants, other horses, etc. If you feel the need to take your breast collar off for an exam, then you better do something to clip it so it's up and off the ground and out of the way. And your girth is not so loose that if this horse moves suddenly, that the saddle is going to roll and fall off. I've also seen people go to a vet check and then they vet tack off, and when they leave, they go like this and lead their horse away to wherever they're going. And I can tell you there have been a lot of saddles in the dirt, and horses, when this saddle all of a sudden comes off, and it could just be that they shook, right? The horse just shakes, shake, 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 saddle goes flying, and now you've got this new problem. And vet checks, as we know at endurance rides especially, are crowded like New York City streets on New Year's Day. It is a crazy mixture of horses and riders. It always seems to work, except when it doesn't. And usually when it doesn't, it's just a couple of simple things that the rider didn't think about in terms of my responsibility for the safety of everybody.
Thank you for keeping us safe, Erin.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, last little tidbits to help your trail go smoothly. One we're going to talk about is ribbons.
Ribbons in the tail. That's really important. If my horse is going to kick, if it's known to kick, if it might kick, if I'm not sure, I'm going to put a nice big red ribbon in their tail. And since my vet's not going to see the tail first, I need to let her know that my horse is known to kick and to be careful.
Yes, thank you. And overall, just in conclusion, please practice with your horse at home, trotting, handling, standing still, ask questions. The whole point is to learn and do better. And we, the veterinarians, are here to help, not to get you booted out. We want you to succeed. Thank you so much.
Have a great ride.